Alright, so this is going to be one of the longer videos, kind of just, wow, a lot of content. Now let me switch this over to here, to go over. So we started with Postman, Google Cloud Platform, which we talked about. Firestore, storage, we talked about so many concepts with implementing kind of the how to put it to Firestore, to put it to cloud storage, and how to do the implementation of the code and enter the code. And we decided to use Node.js to kind of do so. But as you said, with Generation 2, we have the choice of using pretty much any, or most, I should say, platforms and different languages. That was just one we chose, and yeah, I'm just gonna go over it. Took me around 4 hours this morning to watch it all, just because I had to rewind, kind of keep along. Even with certain parts, I had to slow down because I was trying to keep up with. I just decided to kind of more or less watch and kind of see, because I felt like as I was doing, I was kind of not really getting the concepts. And that's the most important part for me, is because I want to understand what you're doing and I want to implement it with Cole and our future projects and labs. So, and it's important for me to kind of understand what you're doing rather than doing it beside you, because sometimes I do it beside you, I don't really understand it. Rather than seeing you do it and really comprehending it, makes more sense. So, yeah, it was a lot of videos, but I'll show you the gist of it all. Obviously, this is just a little thing that you brought up about current time and what I was following. You talked about Postman, submitting to it, putting a get, putting a where is it, posts, and how we assign the values. I have a notepad here for all the notes that I wrote. This was the bananas one that you talked about at the end, which will be the last video. And kind of just some notes I have here. HTTP cloud lecture, obviously, do it in the cloud editor, talk about enabling APIs. You talk about test parameters. We created in the JSON objects, which is just JSON is more or less just dependencies. That's all it is pretty much. As you discussed, we come up with these variables. We obviously write this, which is right here. We implement as a value, and we want to shorten it to one text line because it doesn't really matter. For us, it does, the kind of spacing, indentation. Sorry, trying to do a quick overview because there's a lot of material. So if I come off as rambling, I probably am. So, but here's a Postman. We worked on it, showed us kind of what we're doing when we're submitting a value. We could add a file as we did and push it through. Let me show you the functions. So go to edit, go to code. This is obviously the demo you showed us, kind of going over the demo. We created the imports. The imports are obviously in the dependencies, which is in the JSON. The functional variables, obviously bucket name, which you created at the beginning of the first video. Headers, create temperature, humidity, all the factors. And there's much more, which I have here. I'll show you. Created all these and multiple different files. Yeah, this is a completed one. We worked on other ones, but I'll show you the completed one so we can go over kind of what is really happening. If we push it through and it's not really on us, and basically telling the users that they didn't do it right, so it's just error message basically. Then you talk about temp, all the factors that we're trying to push and show the user. The constraints, which is Firestore storage, which I'll show you. This is just kind of me going over it, basically everything, because it's a lot of material. So we talk about NPMs, you talk about basically how to logically kind of find out stuff about it. So go back here. So let's go to Cloud Run and go to function 2, which is showing data phase. Not really sure what that is. I'm gonna have to fix that. But yeah, we talked about logs. talk about server, talk about everything like that. I'll go to my first one then, because this one is not working. This was the one I did earlier. Okay, so we'll talk about logs, we'll talk about basic revisions, networking, security, triggers, integrations, all the above. Logs is basically going to show us what we put through, what goes through, and kind of shows us the time, everything like that. Shows functionality. Wish I could show you the second one because that one shows more information. I'm not really sure. I did not see this earlier. But anyways, I will show you kind of everything that I was doing earlier. The exceptions with everything going on. It's been a long morning, so I'm just working on this, trying to figure it out, trying to get it implemented and follow along with you. So we talk about cloud storage, we talk about buckets. Here's the different buckets we created and how to use them, what the importance is of them. So as you can see, it shows you everything kind of going over, version history. So it's basically where we're storing our files, basically. And then we go to Firebase. Just go to Firestore as I typed in earlier. Default, we have native. We run a push through there. That's when I kind of just followed manually because I felt like as I was trying to keep up, I've used Firestore previously in Capstone, and it's been kind of easy to see you do it and understand what was going on through this because it just makes sense based off of my junior project, and I've used it a little bit in my senior capstone, but we're more doing server implementation. But anyways, for a junior project with yeah, it was just our constant project with Flutter, with Firebase, Firestore, all that. So I kind of already had the knowledge of it. So it's kind of nice just to see you kind of do it. You basically break down all of the code for this JavaScript and what we're doing, and this will show up in our user for our Firestore. And talk about Postman. I'm trying to think of what else. There's so much material. Trying to make sure I cover it all. Yeah, we go back to database. Go back to project. There we go. And just basically talking about just how to use Google platform and just how to just navigate through it. Sorry, I've been running around trying to figure out all this and understand it. So if I bounce around, it's kind of how I work. I work in a very like all over the place kind of mode. So I'm gonna figure out this error message. I think it's probably because I didn't use it for a little bit before filming this video. But yeah, so pretty much, let me go back to my notes. We talked about the sub-content parse information in Postman. We do basically weather summary and this detailed out application. And we basically went over cloud functions, Firestore as database, store files in storage, how to do so, how we trigger by Postman and test by that because it's a long test process if we do it the other way because pushing it through and going to Firestore and then doing it just takes a while, and if you use Postman it just instantaneously basically tests it for you. You can see this is the files we gave to us, and it basically just goes over every detail of the code, how we use it, what is implementation, how we write it, basically how we're gonna use it in our M5 core processor. Yeah, it's just a lot of material, but I feel like it helped kind of seeing you navigate through it and also navigating through most of it as well with you, and doing it all basically step by step for the most part with you, and writing everything. We go over triggers, none of this we went over logs. So yeah, basically more or less just getting used to Google Cloud Platform and using it and correlating it to our project, and also um, just making sure we know the core concepts with the cloud functionality, um, and implementing into our project. So a lot of it was understanding and breaking down all the code specifically at the last video. The first two videos were all pretty yeah, that's all they were with Google Cloud, going back and forth between our function, going back and forth between storage, going back and forth between Firestore, and kind of using all the three to understand how to basically implement all three, getting our project running, understanding how to use the platform, and seeing you do it hands-on was crucial. Postman was another. I've never used Postman, so that was interesting to see it send and all the above, and how to use that implementation. I'm excited to use that, and that'll be a new concept that I haven't done before. So yeah, it's a lot of material. Tried to do kind of just a quick overview. Hopefully this suffices for my last video. If you need, I'll submit my notes for you. And I just greatly appreciate it. So look forward to seeing you in a lecture and kind of going over this more, just basically to touch base on these concepts. And yeah, God bless Grissom, and really appreciate these lectures. I would definitely watch again, because watching this many lectures in one morning, it's a lot, and I need to rehearse it and kind of watch again. So as I will do. So I just wanted to show you that I basically did watch it. I understood from a generic and granular conceptual point of view, and yeah. So God bless. Thank you, Grissom, and hopefully this suffices. Let me know if you need more from me or anything else. I greatly appreciate you. Bye bye.